Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. There's a part of our, daily or weekly routine that has been heavily impacted in recent years. Self-checkout aisles. Now hold your booze for a moment. Let's look at these things rationally. I, in the past, have had many reasons to go grocery shopping after midnight. And it used to be they'd either be paying a cashier there to sit there for their 8 hours, staring at their nails, staring at their phone, and that's not really profitable. And I'm not crapping on any of those cashiers because you know what? If I was there 8 hours and I'm stuck in that little wooden booth, it sucks. Then some executive got the idea that they were going to train one of the warehouse staff so they'd be able to come to the front and deal with the customer and go back. This worked fairly well. The gentleman they trained at my local store was pretty friendly with me. It's just that, I don't know, maybe he was really busy with something that had to get done. Sometimes I'd wait there for a minute or two. Like, he was good. He'd see me come in and he'd kind of hang around the cashiering area. I don't know if that's a word or not, but it is now. But he'd hang around there because he knew I was pretty quick. I'd come in, I'd get basically enough for one meal, maybe one extra thing, and I knew what I was looking for when I came in. So it was 5 minutes in there, 2 minutes checkout, say some pleasantries, go away. And I understand having a hybrid system does work. And it worked very well until around 2016, 17, when they started installing self-checkout places. Now, self-checkout places seem to be the answer to everybody's problem. They're automated, they don't require much input, and people can check themselves out. The problem is, whoever designed these things, designed them, I'm going to say overall the design is pretty good. But it's far from perfect. Heck, I can't explain to you how many times I've been in the line and I've picked up some random thing and the cashier, oh, what's this? Now, they're not being mean. They're just simply saying, oh, what is this exactly? I've seen it once before in the store maybe, but I have no idea what it is. It's arugula or the many types of bok choy, big, small, baby, and they have lok choy, and then mustard leaves look a lot like them. Now, that's a trained cashier. Can you imagine little old Mrs. Smith, who is a perfectly intelligent individual, but is at the end of their day and is just trying to pick up some ingredients to make something, and first thing she sees, oh, that looks like what I have. Beep. And that gets checked out. Well, I'm not going to call that human stupidity in that case, but it could be called ignorance because we're not aware of all the different types of produce and stuff like that out there. There's also the problem of, instead of simple human ignorance, like, let me give you 2 bags. 2 bags of apples. Do you know which ones are the russets, which ones are the galas, which ones are the red delicious? Just by looking at them. If you pick them up, yes, but if you're a cashier, you have no chance. I know they have that number tag on them, but most people still don't know what that number tag is. Then you get a little more the devious type. The type who purposely goes to get prime rib, then stops off, weighs it into the vegetable section, and puts it on the machine as cabbage. Now, this is a mistake I'm not going to say no cashier would make, but you'd have to catch them on a pretty rotten day for them to make a mistake between a prime rib and a cabbage. They would weigh about the same, but there's a huge profit loss for the company. Whereas the self-checkout machines, okay, beep, you just had cabbage. and you go home and have yourself a really, really nice dinner. There's another problem most people don't know about these machines. They're inventory based. The store knows at the beginning of the day how many prime ribs that they have. They know how many cabbages they have. So the machine goes through and says, oh, you're down one cabbage, which puts us down to the point we have to reorder. And the prime rib, which is actually what needs to be ordered, is not debited. Walmart and Target, in an article, recently revealed that they're losing millions to these systems. Millions. This is not a small problem. This is an issue for each and every single store. And some of them are just starting to wake up to the problem. I don't really mind self-checkout stations, but I don't like the way that employees are spread so thin. When you need help with one of those machines, oh yeah, you need help badly. And they're the ones that can override, they're the ones that can get a malfunctioning machine working again. And most importantly, those employees are the ones who are actually the ones that the store depends on. Automated checkout is nothing new. The Piggly Wiggly stores, which are a southern United States thing, they were doing automatic vending machines back in the 30s and 40s. And then you'd put the money in, you'd pull the slot out and get your item. It's a little different than what we have today. It's fascinating to look at these old machines, but it's a different world entirely. Without cashiers, though, you have a lot of problems. First mentioned, shrinkage. Shrinkage is losses. Like I said, you've lost a prime rib, but you have an extra cabbage lying around. Oh, great. That's going to make all the difference in your profit margin. They're going to start scaling this back because someone's going to point out to them that during the pandemic, cashiers were deemed an essential service. And this is why I say both cashiers and automated checkout lines do have their place. Not because it saves money on labor. No, if you're replacing people with machines to save money on labor, you don't understand how cost and benefits works. Like I said, that cashier can identify that's not a cabbage. That's a prime rib. And also, a choice is the best idea for everything. I'm pretty confident in what I pick up. I look at labels. I know that sticker is there. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but at least I'm interested. I know other people who are nowhere near as invested in. Yep, whatever comes up, that's what it is. Which unfortunately, given our distractions and time, we'll kind of take whatever the first thing is. The most important thing we have to remember is if we have a choice, and every time I saw there was a choice, people would avoid the self-checkout in favor of the person. Most. Few people, like me, like the option. If I'm feeling tired and cranky, like I said, that both those midnight cashiers, they were pleasant to talk to, but there's days I'm just like, oh, I can't deal with that. And I have like 3 items, so just let me beep, 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 and get the heck out of there. That's a me thing. Cashiers, never really met a grumpy cashier. Cashiers have a hellish life. During the pandemic, remember they were enclosed in that glass and everything to keep them from being sneezed on? That needs to come back because those poor cashiers are there. People are pulling the chains behind them and throwing carts through, or worse, thinking that that's the actual checkout line, and they're entitled and they want to get into an argument with it. And these cashiers are expected, not optional, expected to smile and give you a, quote, good customer service, end quote. And they're not exactly getting rich off of this. This may be their full-time job. There are full-time cashiers. but they're still not paid nearly enough for what they have to do. And you're expected to know all these little items in the store, like a kumquat or, whatever. You can just walk into your produce section and take a look around. They're expected to at least have an idea of most of the stuff in there, which comes with time. But these poor people are having their livelihood threatened for a system that is not optimal. That's why I believe in the hybrid. One cashier can probably watch about 4 machines. And yeah, there's some pretty big grocery chains out there. I understand that. But if you're requiring your business model to be based around the minimum customer service possible, you got to rethink your business. I mean, I've always said this about host staff and waiters and wait staff and all that. If management is expecting to pay them, and this is not true everywhere, some places pay a minimum wage, in which case their tips are shared, and others give them the lowest pay possible and expect them to make it up with tips. If you can't pay to have staff, you don't deserve them. And I know it's all about cost cutting, and this is a mantra that management has gotten into their head. But over the next couple of years, I think you're going to see some things coming back. I'm interested in seeing whether they were called bag boys, bagging people. Whether they're ever going to make a comeback, because Christmas is the season that you tend to use it. People are buying so many groceries and you want to get them out of the way. So you have one employee sitting there just shoving stuff into bags. And, they have a pretty reasonable expectation of what's going to fit in a bag because they've done it so often, they got a good idea. So while it's somebody costing you money, it's saving you money because, first of all, you're not having that person go to customer service and complain that the person put too many things in a bag. Secondly, it speeds up everything. The more you get people through, the less people abandon their stuff. And you can always find that tray of baskets and somebody's dumped their groceries in it and walked off because they didn't want to wait any longer. Now, this is not a jerk move, in my opinion. It's an understandable one because, when you've been waiting long enough, you figure, that's it. I'm going to go to insert fast food restaurant here because now I'm tired. I have this to get to, blah, blah, blah. The good news, and this is something I never thought I'd say, the intelligentsia pointed out that these machines were dehumanizing and people would prefer personal contact. They were right. The customers were pointing out, we don't like this. They were ignored. The lobbyists who are looking on behalf of the workers couldn't do anything. What was defeated, this machine revolution, these cashier terminators that live within our midst, is beautiful, perfect human ignorance and stupidity. And I don't say that to insult the people that were used them. I'm just saying that because there was no coordinated plan. The best and the brightest among us couldn't do anything about it, but the common person punching in the wrong numbers or having a wrong tag has shown the weakness in their system. And now these companies are realizing, this was not a good investment of our time or money. So let's salute those who just going about their lives and being themselves because they're tired, they're frustrated, they make mistakes, and they're the ones that are making CEOs realize they can't have it their way. Cheers to them. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please like, subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to click the notification bell so that way you'll be informed every time we upload a new episode. Leave a comment. It helps the algorithm. Sharing helps the algorithm find us. And after that, we hope you have a fantastic day.